Alright friends, I am going to start a reading vlog. Hopefully this one turns out okay. I am really not great at reading vlogs. We will be reading Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. As you all know, this was a very anticipated release in March, and the consensus is that a lot of people are kind of divided on this book. A lot of people either really love it or they just really kind of don't like it and don't think it's a great book or don't like Daisy as a character. I'm not going to go in with really high expectations. I feel like this is a book I will love because I did like her last book, and that was more, you know, famous people kind of stuff, and this takes place in the 70s with a band. I feel like I'll like this a lot more than maybe I liked The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I guess I should kind of talk about the plot. If you don't know what this book is about, I guess I'll read the synopsis. So Daisy's a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars, and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's rock and roll she loves most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Also getting noticed is the Six, a band led by the brooding Billy Dunn. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camilla finds out she's pregnant, and with the pressure of impeding fatherhood and fame, Billy goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes the key to a supercharged success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of a legend. The making of that legend is chronicled in this riveting and unforgettable novel, written as an oral history of one of the biggest bands of the 70s. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a talented writer who takes her work to a new level, with Daisy Jones and the Six brilliantly capturing a place and time in an utterly distinctive voice. So this book, a lot of people kind of didn't like this aspect, but it's actually kind of told in an interview format, which I read a sample of this book before I bought it, and I actually really liked it. Hopefully this will be a quick read because of the format it's in. Like, it's not huge chunky paragraphs, so hopefully this will be a fast read. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about it. I should probably get reading now. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you an update on Daisy Jones and the Six. Sorry for the quality, I'm filming on my phone. I'm on page 105 currently. So my first impressions about this book. This isn't really a book about Daisy Jones so far. This is mostly just a book about the Six, especially like the lead singer. I think his name's Billy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so basically the two main characters of the story is Daisy Jones and Billy Dunn. Dune. I'm actually not sure how his last name is supposed to be pronounced, but so far we know more about Billy and what he's about than we really do know about Daisy. Like, Daisy's just been a side character thus far, and yeah, I think like the first half of this book is really focused on Billy and the other few band members of the Six. We hardly know anything about Daisy. All we know is that she's a struggling songwriter. She has a lot of problems with her parents and pills and drugs and drinking, partying, and men, and that she's struggling to become a songwriter and, you know, make an album and sing her own songs. She's an entitled brat, pretty much. And Billy is just kind of a control freak, and he really dictates his band and stuff. So either one of them aren't like great people, but I mean, I have to give it to Taylor Jenkins Reid. She knows how to make a really dynamic character and not a one-dimensional kind of character. So that's the only thing good I can say about that at this point. I am liking the overall story so far and the overall vibe of it. Like, I cannot wait until Reese Witherspoon turns this into a TV show, because I think it'll be a really incredible TV show. I really do like the interview style because it's making me fly through the book. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it so far. Like, it's good, but it's like not blowing me away yet. So yeah, I probably won't update you until I'm like completely finished the book. Because like, I don't see the point coming on here and talking about it. Hello, BookTube. Now Sunday, June 23rd, it took me a whole week to read this book because I absolutely had no time for reading. So many things happened in the past week, and it was just one crazy thing after the other. So I finished Daisy Jones and the Six last night. Yeah, so what do I think about this book? I think through reading 2 of Taylor Jenkins Reid books that I don't think I'm ever going to find a 5-star read from her. I love her premises for books. I really loved the premise for The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I really loved the premise for Daisy Jones and the Six. I get the overwhelming sense that these books were written for the sole purpose of becoming movies or becoming TV shows. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like this book, I mean, it's already been picked up for a TV adaptation. So I feel like this book was definitely written with that kind of in mind, and honestly, it's like the perfect book to adapt into a TV show. I know that I'm going to love the TV show more than I am the book. Okay, where do I start with this? So I enjoyed the interview writing style. I really enjoyed it. I liked the different perspectives that happened with, certain scenarios. It was never a slow book. It was always something that held my interest. I was never bored. It was always thoroughly entertaining. But that's pretty much it. Like, the 2 main characters, well, I guess there's like kind of 4-ish main characters in this book. You have obviously Daisy Jones. She is basically a side character because even though this book is named Daisy Jones and the Six, it pretty heavily focuses on Billy Dunn, the lead singer of the Six, and the band. Like, it's very focused on Billy, and at times Daisy just kind of felt like a side character because she was kind of an outsider coming into the band. I get that she's supposed to be this huge star in the 70s and whatnot, but she comes across as a spoiled brat a lot of the time. Yeah, she kind of had a hard upbringing where her parents, like, I don't know if you would really call it hard upbringing. I mean, she's like filthy rich. Her parents are rich and whatever. But they ignored her when she was a kid, and then, she turns to drugs and sex, and, it's the 70s. So she deals with things in a very unhealthy way. She has a drug addiction. And she pretty much doesn't acknowledge that she has a drug addiction for a very long time. I don't think a lot of people in the 70s actually acknowledged they were addicted to drugs during that time period, if they were. So it's kind of the same thing with Daisy. She thinks she's this amazing songwriter, and she thinks that she should be handed the world and she should have everything that she wants, which obviously she comes off as a spoiled brat, and that's what annoyed me the most about this book. Taylor Jenkins Reid makes very complicated and real characters, and I think she did the same thing with Daisy as she did with Evelyn, where she made a character which on the surface seems very likable. They're like a sex symbol, but they also have a lot of unlikable qualities about them, and the biggest thing that I don't like about Daisy is that she's just a brat. The only thing that I did kind of like about her eventually turns her life around and gets clean. The only good thing that I could say that I really love about reading Taylor Jenkins Reid's books is that her books and her characters and everything, they always feel so real. Like, I felt like I was reading about a real band, and I really like that. So I want to talk about Billy Dunn, the lead singer of the Six. he is again a complicated male character, which I don't think we see a lot of in books. Well, at least I haven't read many really complicated male characters. I feel like he was the main character instead of Daisy Jones. Like, this book was much more focused on him. So he is the lead singer of the Six, and he also has dealt with drug addiction. He gets married to this girl, Camilla, and, you know, they have children together, and he gets clean for his family. One thing about Billy is that he's definitely a control freak, and he's like the dictator of the band. He doesn't really let the band have a say in the creative process, and he just changes things about their songs without consulting the band. So he's very much in control of what goes on in the band, and, you know, their songs and the look and all that kind of stuff. So definitely not the easiest guy to work with. He's very kind of all up in himself and all about his family. Doesn't really give any time to his bandmates. It doesn't even seem like throughout, you know, the later part of the novel that they really hang out or have any kind of connection. I mean, by the end of the book, when everything breaks up, you kind of think that this breakup is going to be huge, like a big event, like something shocking is going to happen to break it up, kind of like how in the end of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, how, you know, something shocking really happens, but really it's not that shocking, because you could see throughout the book kind of, you know, how it's set up and what is actually going to take place and why it is that these people, you know, decided to leave Daisy Jones and the Six. So, you know, people leave for their own reasons, and it wasn't really that much of a shocking conclusion. It was a surprise, like, it was a nice surprise to see who the interviewer was for these interviews. I really liked that part. I kind of had my suspicions that it would be someone closely related to the band, but I wasn't really expecting that. I really liked that. So basically, I enjoyed this book. I really love the writing style, and, you know, the characters, they feel so real. Everything in this book, they feel like a real band. It doesn't feel like I'm reading a book made of fiction, you know? So that's what I really love about Taylor Jenkins Reid's, you know, last two books, is that kind of feel to them. But with that being said, like, I don't know what it is about her writing, but I can't seem I mean, just with Daisy Jones and with, you know, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I can't seem to fully, absolutely fall in love with these books. Like, it's a really, they're both really, really great books, but they're never a favorite, and I feel like they're always everybody else's favorite but mine. And it's very frustrating, because I really do want to love these books and say, you know, this is like a favorite book, but it was an okay book. It was a good read. I would definitely, like, they're very, both of her books, especially this one, they're very rereadable, and that's what I like. This is probably a 4-star read for me. Like, it's really good. I really like it, and it's something that I would reread again. It's something that I would keep on my shelf, and it's something that I would also recommend to people. I really enjoyed it. Did I love it? No. And I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming TV series that Reese Witherspoon is going to be producing. Hopefully I can get it in Canada. And it will end up probably being one of the biggest TV series when it comes out. Like, it's gonna be big, and I have a feeling that it definitely will, and it'll appeal to a lot of people. And I'm certainly really excited to see who's going to play Daisy and who's going to play Billy. If you have read this book, I would love to know what your thoughts are on it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Are you looking forward to the TV adaptation? If you guys enjoyed this here reading vlog, I don't even know if these are reading vlogs anymore, because I don't really show you guys when I'm reading, because I always look like a mess. But I hope you've at least enjoyed seeing my thoughts on the book before I read it. while I'm reading it and after I'm done reading it. So if you did, please be sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe. You can go ahead and check me out on social media. I will leave my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram all in the links below. You can go ahead and check me out there, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!